Return of the Jedi was the first movie I ever saw in the movie theater. And that was 30 years ago. So I'm old.
I'd been a long-time fan of the Star Wars universe by the time Return of the Jedi came out.
The anticipation for it was so great because we're all left with this cliffhanger from Empire.
And I just remember this huge long line out the mall.
And it was the longest line ever in the history of lines to me.
My dad took me and we stood on line starting at 5 a.m. in the morning for like a 12 o'clock show.
I remember the mad rush for the seats when the doors finally opened.
Oh dear, Archibald.
Jabba's Palace was the coolest thing.
Any place as a kid that was full of creatures, that was just a mecca for a child.
I think at that age you actually think it's real, like it's a documentary.
Jabba's Palace was basically a palace of debauchery, half-naked alien chicks, weird creatures, and death matches.
I wanted to hang out in that bar.
It was a cool bar.
Salacious Crumb was irritating.
I feel like I only remember him kind of just laughing.
Every villain needs a sidekick. He's like a sidekick's sidekick.
I think I've always empathized with Salacious Crumb because he really is the court jester. He's expected to be funny. But I know inside that tinny, shrill laugh beats the heart of a performer who just wants applause.
As a young fat boy, seeing Jabba for the first time was awesome because finally in the Star Wars trilogy, other than Porkins, we had one of our own.
I always wanted to know what he was eating.
He was eating like frogs dipped in gefilte fish.
It looked like some kind of like spinach or something, and it kind of made me not want spinach.
I was all about the Rancor. I loved the Rancor.
It's this giant, creepy monster.
When he died, I actually felt bad for it because it's like, this is just a really stupid beast doing what it was supposed to do.
When they crushed the guy's head, you're just like, oh, poor Rancor.
My favorite thing is when he dies and the handler comes up.
It was just some poor bastard's pet.
What have we here?
Dope.
Lando's disguise, we kind of let it go.
You see his mustache from a mile away.
I thought the bone helmet was awesome.
This doesn't fool anybody.
So I'm 13, full-blown puberty, and there I am watching Return of the Jedi for the first time. And all of a sudden she comes out in a metal bikini.
I saw it as a suit of armor for.
And then you see it and you're like, that's wrong-ish.
Oh my Lord, man. Like, this is everything I dreamed about.
That was the moment where you were like, wow, she's like a super space babe.
It's even the name of it, Slave Leia. Like, I'm not supposed to be okay with it.
Yeah, in the hood, we didn't say it was a slave outfit.
And then later on, she uses this same outfit to choke and kill the Hutt, which is awesome.
I don't think anybody ever looked so hot committing murder. She was smoking.
You got to appreciate what that one costume did for, like, Comic-Con. Thank you, Star Wars.
I always thought it was cool when Luke went back to Dagobah because I want to see as much Yoda, Obi-Wan Kenobi interaction as possible.
What I told you was true from a certain point of view.
A certain point of view?
Oh yeah, that's right. She's your sister.
I kissed her, dude.
Your dad was killed by Darth Vader. This is a senior moment.
What do you want? I'm an old guy. I was basically living in a sand igloo when you found me.
Perfect plot point before I die.
The most controversial aspect, of course, of Return of the Jedi is the Ewoks.
I was totally Team Ewok.
You know, I liked the Ewoks.
I did. I liked the Ewoks, man. I said it.
I was like an Ewok apologist.
I don't like Ewoks.
To this day, there are people who are mad about the whole Ewok thing.
I'm not feeling them at all.
I wanted to be an Ewok, and sadly, I kind of grew up to be one. I'm somewhere between an Ewok and a Wookiee.
Wookiee, Ewok, like the letters are, it's shorter and the letters are turned. They're the same!
I wanted a pet Ewok.
I think it would be great to have a little Ewok around.
They'd love me.
Yeah.
They might look cute, but they will bash you in the head with a rock.
He'd just be like, I'd be like, no way.
And if they were female and my old lady was like, hey, that's not cheating, I don't know.
You see a character and you instantly want to know everything there is to know about that character.
Admiral Ackbar, please.
Admiral Ackbar, one of the great unsung heroes of the entire Star Wars trilogy.
Admiral Ackbar. Or should we call him Admiral Obvious?
It's a trap! He just seems like he's like always just saying like some obvious stuff.
It's a trap!
No duh. This is our plan. All right, now this is our plan. All right, now what are we doing? It's a trap.
He's undermining morale the moment he said it like that.
It's a trap!
It's the way he said it. It's the way he moves his head. It's his groovy white turtleneck.
I am looking at you.
Today, in the year 2013, it's a trap is actually more used than use the Force.
May the Force be with us.
Darth Vader, I didn't realize that there was someone worse than him.
And suddenly, he's got a boss.
So when Emperor Palpatine comes in, I couldn't believe that like Vader was kneeling to this guy and this guy was Vader's master.
Rise, my friend.
He's one of the greatest bad guys of all time.
I dare you to make a better movie villain than that. I dare you.
You will be destroyed. He's just getting so like amped up and passionate about doing evil.
There's something about the dark side of the Force that discourages people from going to the dentist.
Probably aren't a lot of plastic surgeons in that universe.
He was disgusting.
Horrible gray skin. Clearly a smoker.
Yeah.
And beautiful eyes. Just beautiful, beautiful eyes.
And he would have won if it hadn't have been for Vader having feelings.
Seeing Darth Vader was one of the weirdest, freakiest things.
Even though he's got that great James Earl Jones voice, they rip off his helmet. It just looks like Mr. Hooper from Sesame Street.
James Earl Jones's voice was so dominating in that costume that when they pulled off that mask and it was some British dude,
Let me look upon you with my own eyes.
it freaked me out.
That's not hydraulics in the mask. That's just these gaseous emissions, just like.
Should have had Luke just be like, oh,
ooh. Poor guy. No eyebrows. Not since the special edition. At the end, we see that they have a bunch of stormtrooper helmets lined up. But what happened to the stormtroopers?
You just crack open those shells and it's like lobster, you know?
They ate the Empire, and they danced over their bones.
I loved the party song, the celebration song at the end of Return of the Jedi.
How did it go again?
It's an anthem, if you will.
anthem.
It's a celebratory anthem of kicking ass.
I think that the stormtroopers got what was coming to them.
I walked out of the theater singing that song and just feeling it and feeling good about the world.
And at the end of the movie, I was filled with a profound sense of sadness.
I didn't know if there was ever going to be another Star Wars movie.
What are we going to do with the rest of our lives?
I think the most interesting thing about Star Wars for me is just as I get older, the way I can see it from different generational angles.
Lightsabers.
Every trilogy tries to end like Return of the Jedi, and no one can.
Return of the Jedi means so much to me. The whole Star Wars saga in general means so much to me.
It's the holy trinity of great storytelling. You have a powerful universal message, incredible action, and beautiful romance.
I know on paper I'm supposed to say that Empire is my favorite, but Return of the Jedi is actually my favorite.
I feel like without Return of the Jedi, I don't know that Spaceballs would make as much sense.
Return of the Jedi is a completely fulfilling conclusion to probably the greatest popular phenomenon of our time. And to this day, that trilogy remains the gold standard. I like Ewoks.